Hello, people of the world of the internet watching new vehicle reviews. Welcome to this, the 2025 Toyota Tacoma TrailHunter edition. And on top of that, this is a long bed model. It's an interesting pairing for something with trail in the title. But regardless, today I'm gonna get up in the air, we're gonna nerd out tech specs, see how this bad chicken is constructed, and then go give it some meatballs on a trail. If you have never watched one of these car reviews before and you just heard that sentence, you probably think I was dropped on my head. All right, first up, there's all kinds of seasonings attached to this taco. Got these little ARB recovery points painted red. The TrailHunter package lowers the tow capacity down to 5950. I like the little two-tone plastic here. Also, ARB bumpers. Oh, it still has sensors incorporated. Fancy. Weird. Oh, it doesn't have a tailpipe. Props on not using a donut for a spare. I appreciate that. It does have an alloy, 18 by 7.5, made in China. It looks slightly different amount of spokes. Much like the other upper trims of the Tacoma, it comes with a Hino Toyota solid rear axle with an electronic locking limited slip diff and a 3.58 final drive ratio. However, on the TrailHunter, got a big old skid plate protecting the rear pumpkin. Out back, the Tacoma TrailHunter edition utilizes an all-steel in construction multi-link rear suspension. The coil springs are unique for the TrailHunter, giving a 1/2-inch rear lift. It's paired with a set of these forged monoblock Old Man Emu remote reservoir rear shocks. The rear anti-sway bar mounted on the front of the axle measures in at beefy 23mm and change diameter. The 2025 Toyota Tacoma, now in its second year of the 4th generation, in the TrailHunter long bed hybrid max configuration, weighs in at 5,410 pounds, making it about 800 pounds heavier than a non-hybrid TRD off-road. The skid plate is a composite plastic. Interesting. There's that downturn tip exhaust dump right before the rear axle I was talking about, stainless in construction. Look at the color in that bend. EGTs get up there. As far as the sound department goes, well, it's not a TRD catback. It is Toyota in-house, all stainless in construction with no resonators other than just the muffler. Measures in at approximately 65mm in diameter, a little more than 2.5-inch SAE. For obvious reasons, because it's a double cab with a 6-foot bed, you got a 2-piece painted steel drive shaft, carrier bearing in the middle with a little hoop protecting the U-joint, hairy cardboard above the transfer case and transmission for sound deadening. That's okay. Fully boxed steel frame. Oh, there's dirt stuck by these holes. I bet you they use a chassis wax for corrosion prevention. Yeah, and it's stuck to it. Much like other Hybrid Max models of the Toyota Tacoma, it comes standard with the in-house designed Toyota Aisin L580F direct shift 8-speed automatic transmission, featuring a permanent magnet synchronous electric motor housed between the transmission and the engine, 1TM, that produces 48 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque for the hybrid system. Coupled to the back of that transmission is a 2-speed part-time transfer case with a 2.57-to-1 ratio in low range. Tiny little steel skid plate at the end. That Hybrid Max system is then paired to a 1.87 kilowatt-hour, 6.5 amp-hour, 288-volt nickel metal haldride battery pack somewhere in that vicinity. The ease of maintenance access on these T24 powered tacos, even the hybrid, it's not bad because it is an inline 4. I mean, the cat is huge over here on the side of the bell housing, but I would say it's probably easier than the 4-liter and 3.5-liter V6s. Just behind the engine, underneath 1TM, that hybrid electric motor, you can see the anti-sway bar disconnect mechanism and the sway bar. Just behind the radiator above the skid plate, you can see the steering rack, which is an EPS system with 17-to-1 ratio, a little over 3 turns lock to lock, and over 25-foot turning radius with this long boy edition. Up front utilizes a double wishbone suspension configuration paired with a set of aluminum knuckles, divorced reinforced ball joints, cast iron housing. The coil springs up front give you a 1-inch lift over the non-TrailHunters, and again, it's paired with those forged Old Man Emu coilover dampers. Extra beefy metal skid plates on the TrailHunter. This says TrailHunter. That's what I want to see on all off-road models of Taco. Forged recovery points. The front anti-sway bar measures in at approximately 33 millimeter and change diameter. All right, it's time for the braking test. Nothing behind me. Ready, set, stop. Wow. Okay, the initial braking input on the pedal was very just subtle, and the brakes came on super smooth and linear with little pulsations from the ABS. You could feel the tires chunking along because they're chunky tires. The stopping distance, I want to say, was just a whisker shorter than what I was actually expecting. This video is sponsored by me, my very own car detailing product company, RoboBubble, made in USA. And if you'd like to use what I use to keep my cars clean and also support this channel, this is how you can on my website, sarahandtune.com. Thanks. That braking was just made possible thanks to a 4-piston Advex front caliper with a 13.4-inch or 340 millimeter front rotor. The Hybrid Max Tacos get a larger brake than you get in the non-Hybrid Maxes. The wheels for the TrailHunter edition, they are a 18 by 8.5 with a positive 20 millimeter offset alloy wrapped in a set of 33-inch Goodyear Wrangler Territory RT tires. If you want to get technical, it's not exactly 33 inches, but that's okay. Front inner fender liner, hairy carpet, interesting. Ride height, many foam fingies. Beefy wide flares, and these are not functional vents. I would like to see someone come up with a functional one aftermarket. The Rigid Industries 4 LED color changing, either yellow or white, fog lamps. Satoshi style grille with a LED light bar under Toyota, which comes in handy if you live in moose country. A different bumper for the TrailHunter, but that is still plastic down here. Also, the entire grille has the active grille shutters behind here. Whoa! Check that little Easter egg out. There's an old Hilux on this piece of plastic above the skid plate, as well as a late 80s, early 90s pickup right here. That's sick. Whoever at Toyota came up with that idea deserves a raise in my book. Tubular steel rock rails, very beefy, mounted to the frame all the way down. Also, you got that chip guard texture coat underneath the base and clear coat to help make the paint more durable down here. Leading edge plastic cap helps, and a clear bra right here on the front of the back fender. You can really see that like milky side cast and the pearl of this paint. That's pretty. Out back, it's all plastic in the wheel well, thanks to that composite bed right there. Out back, you go down to a single piston caliper with just slightly smaller 13.2 inch or 335 millimeter rotor. The wheel and tire, same size as you have up front. In the name of science, it is now time to give this thing the beans. But first, assessment of bolstering. It's a slippery seat and it's wide. The seats in the TrailHunter edition are this easy washable material. It's kind of like a bluish greenish gray. Fairly good squishing in the cushion. The seats are both heated as well as ventilated in a Tacoma, as well as the steering wheel is heated. As far as drive modes go, there's a lot. The little dial in the center, I can rotate and go from normal to eco to sport. I also have a tow haul mode. I also have a ton of off-road modes. I'll get to that in a little bit. I press this, lock the rear diff. No, you cannot use it in two-wheel drive. I can bring the drive selector down into drive and bop it to the left, put the transmission in a sport mode, as well as you can use the shifter sequentially up or down to shift. To the left of the steering wheel, I have a traction control button along with a sea of other buttons. Press that and turn off traction control, or press and hold it to further defeat more robots. But I'm gonna give this thing a little assistance and let it eat. Ready? Go. Okay, little chirp of the tire. A little bit of a delay on the shift. Hear the sucking from that snorkel. That's good. would be for having basically an axle dump. Where is it? Hood pop. Underneath the hood of the 2025 Toyota Tacoma TrailHunter Edition is the T24 Alpha-FTS, or Dynamic Force, 2.4 liter all aluminum dual overhead cam single turbocharged 4-cylinder that on its own produces 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. Now, in conjunction with the Hybrid Max system I talked about earlier, you have a grand total of 323 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 465 pound-feet of torque at 1,700 RPM. Oddly enough, just the TrailHunter edition of the Tacoma with the Hybrid Max is 3 horsepower less than the other Hybrid Max Tacomas. And I'm thinking it has something to do with the extra resistance in the schnorkel system for the intake. If that is the case, honestly, it's worth losing 3 horsepower for how awesome this thing sounds. Just like the 4Runner TrailHunter, the inverter for the hybrid system's right here on the passenger side, as well as the giant box for the schnorkel air intake. Digging a little bit deeper on this 2393cc turbo 4-banger, it is fairly undersquared at an 87.5 by 99.5 millimeter bore and stroke with a fairly healthy 11:1 compression ratio for a force-inducted engine. Moving up to the cylinder head, the twin-scroll turbocharger is mounted directly to it where the exhaust manifolds cast into that head. And speaking of that head, it does have Toyota's variable valve timing intelligent on both intake and exhaust cams, as well as this is port and direct fuel injected to help keep the back of the intake valves clean. Wait a minute, what is this little barnacle down by the ECU? Oh, it's pre-wired for some more accessories, possibly, like the Bronco and Ranger does. It does have an electronic brake booster. That's oddly satisfying how they did all these brake lines for the ABS system. That's neat. I've now reviewed quite a few of these new generation Tacomas, and I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the 25, especially the TrailHunter, like there's little elements that seem higher build quality. I don't know if it's just me imagining it, I don't know. It is now time for Rally Special Stage 2.0. I've done a taco around the stage yet, but not the TrailHunter edition, and the TrailHunter 4Runner did phenomenal. So, for off-road modes, I have the Multi-Terrain Selector, MTS, but to enable that, I must put this thing into 4 high, push this thing in, rotate this little wafer. This is one of my least favorite parts about this generation. I feel like this thing could break easy. That brings up a new drive mode menu. I have auto, dirt, sand, mud, and deep snow in 4 high. And I'll put the transmission over into sport. All right, give this thing a little assistance and let it eat. Ready? Go. All right, launch. There we go, put some, ooh, it felt it like kind of crab walk a little bit. That was nice. A little bit of squealing on the dirt with the tires. Yeah, there we go. Oh, slow down for these bumps. Oh, I don't really have to slow down as much as I thought I did. These old man emus are amazing. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but yeah. That was so rough that I just went over and it didn't even phase this thing. Torque is really good. I love the suction sound from the schnorkel on this thing. Just like the 4Runner already, this is, you can make a fast lap in this. My benchmark so far is the Ranger Raptor. I think that was one of the fastest things I've tested around this stage. And this is not too far off. Because it's so smooth, I can really just send it. I thought the long wheelbase would kind of hinder, but also I think that's helping make it stable. Squealing a little bit. Yes, fast. Very, very capable of going fast. Brakes are working great in this dirt. Nice. Rotated so nice right there around that bend. I actually have to concentrate quite a bit because this thing is fast. Tires are doing phenomenal. Suspension is just absolutely brilliant. Yeah, this is no joke. Man, this is no joke. I was really thinking that it wasn't going to be nearly on the level of the Ranger Raptor, but I kind of feel like the TRD Pro Tacoma would be more of a competitor for this than that, but I don't know. That bump right there is brutal and it just sailed over it like nothing. Great, absolutely great. Brakes are great. don't even have to slow down for that stuff right there. This is more of a review of the suspension. Not sponsored by any means, but this suspension is great. Take a shot every time I say great. Well, there we go. Fast. Fast. My first inclination with this truck is that it's so much money for a Tacoma, and I can't process that. But it's like if you just bought a $40,000 taco and you threw 25 grand in upgrades on it. It makes so much sense if you think of it in that aspect. Disconnecting my stabby bar, I just want to see how the 6-foot bed versus the 5-foot bed comes into play, if any at all, for articulation. I don't think it should matter. A little bit of this little obstacle right here. See? Taking it with some speed too. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. Now, as far as the hill climb test goes, we all know that this thing is going to make this hill no problem. But because the Tacoma is offered in different cab and bed configurations, this double cab 6-foot bed being the longest possible, I'm curious of how this will do over a breakover angle. Running it in 4-low, not because it needs it, just to try stuff out. And then if I put this into 4-low, there's more modes. You gotta select neutral. And for 4-low, I have auto, sand, mud, or rock. Press this to lock my rear diff. Rear diff is locking. I gotta roll forward a little bit for it to engage. There you go. Rear diff is locked. Sway bar disconnected. All right, I got a GoPro set up on the breakover so we can see how much it does or doesn't scrape. Because this is a sharp breakover right here. Very slow. I expect this truck does not struggle. But the breakover, here we go. Because I have enough ground clearance. Going slow. All right. I thought for sure this was gonna scrape coming over that. Where you can definitely see the downside though is right here, and I gotta do like a 600-point turn to get this thing around on this trail. That's why I wish that they would offer the extra cab. Essentially, it's like a little single cab option with more trims of the Tacoma. I got my downhill assist control and crawl control button. Can enable that. Activated, use the dial to set your speed. Set it in the lowest. And let off the brake. Wow, this is a really slow speed setting for it. Turn that up a bit. The robotic whales are not as loud as I thought they would be. That sentence might not make sense to a lot of people. Sorry. The back seat of the TrailHunter Tacoma double cab is the same shape as a non-TrailHunter double cab. Journalism. The center of the seat backs have this like ribbed texture to it. There's no cup holders or center armrest. The best part about these trucks for the back seat is just the command style seating. It's been like this ever since the 4Runners back in the 80s, where you can see way above the people in front of you. Passenger side map pocket. Man, for even the TrailHunter, they skimp you on a driver side map pocket. Dual USB-Cs, 2400 watts. I'm pretty sure I could straighten my hair off of this thing. I feel like you should be able to figure that out on your own. LED light, electronic rear slider. That is a healthy, robust oh shit handle. Headroom, I get my hair touches. Armrest is hard, but it is wrapped. The door cards have the little TrailHunter badge on them. I guess everyone has their own personal taste, but that just looks like birthday cake edible letters stuck to the dash. The fact that they wrapped the glove box though in the same fabric as the seat is a nice luxurious touch. It's really soft. The center console, it's padded. Well, it's got some carpet in there. Little grippy cup holder thing that you can take out and wash. This does have Toyota's Safety Sense 3.0, so it's chock full of robot driving assistant aids. Got dual zone digital climate control, shows you the temp in the center of the dial. Physical upfitter switches. A wireless phone charger or teleportation device for pocket change. Dual USB-Cs on the other side. Quick access for the cameras. That taco is red. I need to change, can I change the color of the taco meat? Ah, oh there you go. Well, it's actually pretty good. To color change the fog lights, there's this button right here, and it actually changes the light from white to amber so you know what it's on. And then the light bar is right here. but you have to have the high beams on. You can electronically raise and lower your tailgate. It even has a camera-based rear view mirror. A full digital dash with some telemetry that you can view in there. Custom configuring the gauges in these new gen Tacomas is a little confusing at first, but when you get used to it, it's not too bad. The JBL sound system in here, it's pretty good. It doesn't distort at high volume, which is good, and it has a little detachable Bluetooth boombox that comes out of the top of the dash. This is a bit excessive, but I don't know, it's neat. Someone will collect these 50 years from now. When this new generation of Tacoma first launched, it did get some criticism, especially for the price. I think that's just across the board of new cars in general because of inflation in wages. So it makes us even more angry at car prices. But if you compare it against a similar equipped Tacoma truck from the first generation, you can't, because nothing like a TrailHunter or even a TRD Pro existed. This truck, 66 grand, seems crazy for a Tacoma, but you're getting a modified truck from the factory with a warranty on it. And you don't have to buy this. You could buy an SR 4x4 and modify it yourself. So, and I know modifying a vehicle correctly is not easy for a lot of people to do. It's very easy to buy the wrong combination of aftermarket parts or subpar aftermarket parts that are worse off than factory and ruin your vehicle in the process of modifying it. This is well done from the factory. They did an excellent job with a good selection of quality aftermarket parts. Now, as far as the Hybrid Max drivetrain goes with this T24 Alpha, the fuel economy is not justifying it for me. This truck weighs 800 pounds more than a similar version with the manual transmission and the non-hybrid drivetrain. And right now, after doing all this off-roading, my average fuel economy for this tank of gas has dropped down to 14.4. Granted, I did the rally special stage multiple times to film all this, and that really sucks down the fuel. But the turbo 4-cylinder, a lot of people criticize. Do I miss the option for a V6 in a Tacoma? Personally, no. I owned a Tacoma with the 4-liter V6 in it, and the whole time I had it, I wanted a turbo 4-cylinder. I loved the old Hiluxes with the 22R TE. I thought that was such a cool engine option for a pickup, and a Tacoma makes sense in my mind with a 4-cylinder. I was a huge fan of the 2.7-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, which Toyota still makes, but we can't have in this truck, and I feel it's a shame. It should be offered on a very low trim spec with a manual and just like an old school recipe for an awesome pickup. It is now time to give this taco some scores, starting at the bean score, the assessment of the feeling you get in your gut when you give it the beans. And it's getting a rating of, followed by the cookie score, the assessment of value, and this TrailHunter, as equipped at just about $66,000, including destination, gets a rating of. Next is the wrench score, the assessment of ease of maintenance, and it gets a rating of. Next is the meatball score, the assessment of off-road capabilities, and the Tacoma TrailHunter gets a rating of. One of these days, the finger's just gonna go poof. It's gonna be like that scene from Austin Powers with the spaceship dick flying through the air. Lastly is the penguin score, the assessment on how much I personally like a vehicle. And that Tacoma TrailHunter gets a rating of. If I were to spend money on one of these, I would still regardless get an SR5 extra cab 4x4, which is forcing you to get an automatic transmission, and then I would just manual swap it myself. That's just how I'd roll, no options added. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll see you soon with another. Bye.